Welcome to my strategy series. In these videos, we look at quick ways to analyze the markets. And in this video, we're going to be talking about scalp trades, how to get in them and when to get in them. Every single trade you will ever take in your life, no matter what the time frame, whether it's a swing trade over an hour or 4 hours or however you define a swing trade, a position trade that lasts for weeks, an investment that lasts for years, everything starts. And before any of those things can happen, everything starts as a scalp. So this is a key piece of information to keep in your mind and something to realize from the very early stages of trading. Every single trade starts as a scalp. A scalp can then mature into a swing trade. A swing trade can then mature into a position trade or an investment. So it's very important to realize that if we master scalps, we can then create a criteria going forward that can redefine scalps into swings. Now, a quick, I guess you want to call this a rule or a quick example, is that only 1 in about 10 trades that are scalps can actually turn into swings. It's not like you can just sit there and be a swing trader and say, hey, every trade I'm in has the potential to be a swing trade. While this is true, it's highly inaccurate and not very efficient. It's actually only about 1 in 10 trades that are scalp trades that meet a criteria that could phase them into being a swing trade. And then the same thing forth. And if only 1 in 10 swing trades can be a position trade, well, then you're at like 1 in 100 trades is actually a position trade. And out of the sample size of 100 trades, that sounds about right. Out of every 100 trades I take, maybe one of them has a criteria to enter into a position status where it just, you hold it long-term and it just keeps growing. Wouldn't that be great? Isn't that the dream of every single trader and investor? Just kind of buy something and hold it and make money while you sit on a beach because everything's a perfect position trade and everything just makes money no matter what you do. You can just walk away and the world is beautiful because all your things, they're all position trades and they all just make money forever on end. And being an investor, actually, it would even be further, just put money in things and just let them grow while you just sip coconuts on the beach, sip coconut water or pina coladas or whatever. So this is kind of the mindset that you have to start thinking about, because in the perfect world, everything would be a position or an investment because we wouldn't have to do anything and all the money would just grow out of the ground like magic. But to get there, you have about 100 scalps that happen first per position trade, and then 10 for the swing trades. So with that said, we have to master scalp trading first. This is ground zero for day traders. Now, the way we master scalp trading is by doing all the things we talked about before and kind of creating these overlying criteria, ladder points and hold levels and trends and all these different things that we could be using. And we start working down in timeframes to make sense out of things. So this is a very logical, thought out process. We don't overthink it by going into the greediest timeframes and saying, the greatest timeframes and saying, hey, there's a level way up here, let's just wait for that. If you were to just constantly wait for levels, say you only take 1 trade a day, and if only 1 out of 100 trades could be a position trade, then maybe once a year, you might be able to get into a good position trade that might last 2 weeks or longer. And this might not even be a trade that goes in your direction. You might exit it. So mastering scalp trading and getting into trades frequently and having these large sample size really is beneficial for any trader. Having that raw volume. So whenever we look at scalp trades, we just start defining criteria of, hey, let's look at ranges. Well, I'm going to do that real quick on this video right now. We're just going to kind of look at the entirety of this chart and just kind of pick a few spots that might look like good swing trades. We're going to refresh our page, get it nice and snappy. We always want TradingView to be quick and responsive. So we always refresh it pretty often. First off, this is way too long waiting up here. I've got a trend here. That looks good. I've got a level down here. The raw truth is that I would have been in down here, the 15-minute level that we dictated from the past. It looks like it got hit. Maybe it didn't. I'm not quite sure here. It never got hit. Move on. Let's move forward in this chart. Where could we enter this trade next? So let's just say that we want to develop some kind of criteria. So we've got a trend here we can develop, which is this 5-minute bottom right here to this right here. Great. We've got a nice little trend that we can work with. So where could we take a trade off of that? Let's just start designing some spots that we can take a trade. Well, if that 15-minute didn't get hit and this 5-minute did get hit, I think it's safe to say that you could go after this 5-minute level, which is what it's trying to do right now. Well, it's a little too late to go after that 5-minute level, so let's keep working with this chart and keep moving down. You've got a backside hold level here that could ladder the move, so that could be one potential spot. Let's take this off the chart to clean it up a bit. You have got a hold level that's being developed right here. So if this breaks over top of this and creates it as a hold level, it would be another great spot. A little more advanced than what we're doing today, but that's okay. You've got another 5-minute right here, but maybe we can find a better spot. Maybe there's something, if we keep investigating in this chart, there's like kind of a better spot. So we got a 3-minute level here. Aha, you see deeper in the 5-minute time frame, we found a 3-minute level and that's perfect. This one's already hit, so that's no good. Let's move forward. We know that the 3-minute level is the one that's going to be used now. Darn, this 3-minute level got hit too. So I think it's safe to say we could go after this because you know what? This 3-minute level's hit. What about a 1 minute? Do we have anything even crazier than that? Yeah, we could get a little greedier in this trade. And we could actually say one of two spots. We could either go after this here. I don't like going after this 1 minute level because the 3-minute level's already hit. So if we wanted to do that, we'd be essentially saying, let's go after the latter point. So we could either choose between this 1 minute level or this, not as a hold level, but as a ladder point to the trade. So then you'd be saying, hey, this could ladder this 15-minute part of the trade. So then you would just assess this based on risk. If you are like a 100x trader and you have to take these extreme spots with no risk, well, I think going a little lower here in the trade would make more sense. You might miss the trade, but when you're doing like big 100x trading or the 50x or 125x or 75, whatever your derivatives or futures market is for you, then I think you're always going to take the greedier spot. If you're using spot or small margin, I think you can get away with taking this higher up spot and allowing it to have kind of a backup level. And if it breaks below this backup level, you can say, well, I'm either going to see if it holds trend or I'm just going to get out because I believe that this trend is failing. I would probably just get out if we don't hold this level because I don't like how we laddered off this hourly rate here. So I'm saying that, hey, we hit this inverse level. I don't think it's very smart to be buying trend. It looks like we might just be breaking down. So I kind of just have two levels that I set out as my parameters. And this allows me to create a scalp trade by defining these parameters. Now, because this is at the bottom of the move, it can then turn into a swing trade, which we're going to talk about in the next video. We're going to talk about how we can turn this from a scalp trade into a swing trade. And then just keep that in mind because the same thing is going to be true for swing trades. Every time you get into a swing trade, it's maybe 1 in every 10 swing trades that can actually turn into a position trade. So even just talking about this out loud and kind of just creating this defining criteria of, hey, what does it actually mean to make a scalp trade? And how many times do you have to get into scalp trades, turn it into a swing trade? Just by defining this criteria, we are taking a very smart concept and applying some knowledge to it to say, we don't always have the opportunity to get into swing trades. So don't enter every single trade with the idea of, let's see where this thing can go. The only time we can just say that and be like, oh, let's see where this thing can go is when it's actually meeting that criteria and that candidation for turning into a swing trade. You couldn't turn a trade in the middle of a range into a swing trade. If you were taking a trade up here, this might not make sense as a swing trade. It's got too much up and down it could do. So a common occurrence is you have a level like this, right? And you enter, you've broken above price and you enter long back right here when it comes back and touches it. And then it moves up and it hits this level right here. At this point, you have to leave the trade as it's just a scalp trade. You can't just kind of be in this thing on the right side of things and see where it goes. Because if that level's holding it down, you could come all the way down here and then you could move up and you might exit your trade. And how often does that happen to people when they're in a trade? They're trying to long something or they're trying to short something. They're in a trade. It goes in their direction a little bit. Then it goes against them only to go back in their direction. And it's like, oh, well, I was right, but I had to leave the trade and I lost money. So that's kind of like a very common thing. And the realization that there's only so many trades that can turn into swing trades or so many times that you should be in scalp trades, this clears that up instantly for people and allows them to see forward in any charts and trades. So let's go check our swing trade and see how things are going here. Our swing trade. Yeah, right. See, I tried to trick you guys there. It's a scalp trade. It can't be a swing trade yet. So we've defined our level. It hit it to perfection and now it's moving up, giving us kind of perfect safety in this trade. So we probably caught this thing pretty close because we simply used the correct level in the moment. Price on this was 478.90.57. 478.90.99. So we were within $1 of this trade, which is pretty incredible accuracy if you ask me. So that's the perfect way to look at a trade and the perfect kind of opening mindset to rescoping and rescaling the way in which you should look at your trades. Remember, scalp first, master them. Swings can't exist without scalps and positions can't exist without swings. Therefore, nothing can exist without a scalp. In the next video.